I love stories. Stories are my passion. When I write them, I usually go for prose, but I do love me a good poem. Nothing can pick you up as fast or as good as a good poem. That is why songs work, because they are nothing but poetry with music. Today I want to read 12 poems that I love, some of my favorite poems ever, and I am also going to share two poems that I authored. The first poem that I want to share is Alone by Edgar Allan Poe. From childhood's hour I have not been, as others were I have not seen, as others saw I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken my sorrow, I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone, and all I loved alone. Then in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill the mystery which binds me still. From the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took the form when the rest of heaven was blue of a demon in my view. The next one is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. This third poem is called Ring Out Wild Bells by Lord Tennyson. Ring out wild bells to the wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out wild bells and let him die. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The year is going, let him go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that hear we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to all mankind. Ring out a slowly dying cause, and ancient forms of party strife. Ring in the nobler modes of life, with sweeter manners, purer laws. Ring out the want, the care, the sin, the faithless coldness of the times. Ring out my mournful rhymes, but ring the fuller minstrel in. Ring out false pride in place and blood, the civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and right, ring in the common love of good. Ring out old shapes of foul disease, ring out the narrowing lust of gold. Ring out the thousand wars of old, ring in the 1,000 years of peace. Ring in the valiant man and free, the larger heart, the kindlier hand. Ring out the darkness of the land, ring in the Christ that is to be. This next poem is just a sonnet. If you want to find it, it is called Soneto. It is by Francisco Luis Bernardes. And regardless of its lack of title, it's a beautiful one. And it goes like this. Si para recobrar lo recobrado debí perder primero lo perdido, si para conseguir lo conseguido tuve que soportar lo soportado, si para estar ahora enamorado fue menester haber estado herido, tengo por bien sufrido lo sufrido, tengo por bien llorado lo llorado. Porque después de todo he comprobado que no se goza bien de lo gozado, sino después de haberlo padecido. Porque después de todo he comprendido, por lo que el árbol tiene de florido, vive de lo que tiene sepultado. That one is a beautiful one. It follows nicely to the next one. This one is called Metamorfosis, and it is by Luis Gonzaga Urbina. Era un cautivo beso enamorado de una mano de nieve que tenía, la apariencia de un lirio desmayado y el palpitar de un ave en la agonía. Y sucedió que un día aquella mano suave, de palidez de cirio, de languidez de lirio, de palpitar de ave, se acercó tanto a la prisión del beso, que ya no pudo más el pobre preso, y se escapó, mas con voluble giro, huyó la mano hasta el confín lejano, y el beso que volaba tras la mano, rompiendo el aire, se volvió suspiro. It's beautiful how many of these poems appeal to love. Sometimes not in the most romantic of senses, but love nonetheless. That is one of the things that this world needs a little bit more of. Just a little bit more love, mercy, compassion, all of those virtues that once upon a time were called basic human decency. The next poem that I am going to read is one that I made. I made it when I was competing for a literary contract, and the theme was to be romance and horror, or some kind of romantic horror. One of the sources of inspiration that they told us that we could look to was a movie called Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I dislike. It is Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula because the Dracula in that movie is nothing like the Dracula in the actual novel. If you read Bram Stoker's one, that Dracula was a monster. He had no redeeming qualities. And that is something that I have griped with for a lot of time. I am not particularly fond of that Beauty and the Beast archetype. I find it hard to write something that is both romantic and horrific at the same time, even if they can be sometimes sides of the same coin. But anyway, this is the poem that I came up with, that I ended up submitting, and it is the best that I could do with romantic horror. This one is called Musings of a Muse. This poem is a little bit dark, so listener, beware. Let me tell you a story. Outside the door there was a rose, unlike any other I had seen. I picked it up and held it close. I was the happiest I had been. Its crimson petals were a treat. Its scent enticed me even more. It promised me that soon I'd meet whoever left it on my floor. A tall, dark, and handsome stranger, the type I'd always dreamed about, not afraid when facing danger, the best around without a doubt. Excited, I was self-absorbed and kept my feelings to myself, for I could never be disturbed by those who panicked every day. Fear was the only thing they knew, the only thing of which they spoke, and were insistent on their view till every warning was a joke. There was a curfew every night, the path outside the village closed, there was no life after sunlight, the moonlit forest no one walked. A second flower came along, and red it was just like the first. Attached to it there was a note, in tears of joy I quickly burst. From home I had to run away, a thing I'd do without regret. It was the nature of our way to elope with one we'd never met. Many of our kindred were seduced and had become one with their mate, but for too long we'd been reduced to just surviving from our fate. They had not always been that dull, overprotective, scared folk. Divine gay creatures were them all, and smiles to give they had in bulk. But then the elders saw unfit our pairing with what they'd become. Hate was to what now they submit, the human world was now a slum. I still had yearning of their caste, to experience feelings yet unknown, so from those remnants of the past I'd escape and risk ending alone. It was no secret that sometimes somewhere stood up and left aching, but that would not be my demise. He was beyond the creek, waiting. He smiled a tricky, naughty smile, told me slightly to come closer. Attracted, in spite of his guile, I took a careful step forward. He smiled again and rushed to my side, and in no time hugged me closely. I let his hand to mine be guide as he put it round him slowly. I let his eyes pierce right through me, of their tint I drank the glimmer. The pale moon glowed with such beauty, with every kiss a new shimmer. He bit my lips, he bit my neck, tasting his sweat made my blood rush. Under his spell and at his beck, my heart surrendered to his touch. He took me with him to his home, to keep there for inspiration, and where he once had lived alone, he had me now for libation. For when he slept and turned to dream, he craved the wildest illusions, marvelous worlds for him to see, and used to fuel his delusions. He didn't paint, he didn't draw. Of art, his was a different form. And so the next gift that I got, a crimson heart that was still warm. He gave me an eye, he gave me a thumb, an ear, a brain, and much, much more. Over our bed he hung a lung. Instead of wine, blood he would pour. The gifts kept getting more bizarre, strange, and some might say grotesque, for the true meaning of his art was not so easy to digest. I found the reason there and then, as he just gave me a severed tongue, why my king would not want again to have any other mortal bond. They tried to save us from those sights, the things that turned them into ghouls, a craving for such red delights that were so wrong, so bad, so cruel. But life won't be hard forever. I guess I will accept it all. And to part from him? No, never. I will embrace this dark new home. In time, I'll unite to his cause, enjoy the taste of death and ooze, 'cause monster is as monster does, though long ago I was a muse. These next 7 poems are my favorite poems in the whole wide world. And the last one is another poem that I wrote. This one is called Ozymandias by Percy Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed, and on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal wreck. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." This one is called Cultivo una rosa blanca. It is from José Martí. Cultivo una rosa blanca en junio como en enero, para el amigo sincero que me da su mano franca, y para el cruel que me arranca el corazón con que vivo, cardo ni ortiga cultivo, cultivo la rosa blanca. I love this poem and it has a very special meaning for me. I once met a man, an old man. I met him at the pool. He would always give me the firmest of handshakes. One time he shook my hand and he recited this poem. It was quite an experience. He passed away last December, and requiescat in pace. This next one is simply called If. It is by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you, except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can feel the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. That one is a beautiful one as well. What we should all strive for, methinks. The next one is called Do Not Love Half Lovers. It is by Gibran Khalil Gibran. Do not love half lovers. Do not entertain half friends. Do not indulge in works of the half talented. Do not live half a life. and do not die a half death. If you choose silence, then be silent. When you speak, do so until you are finished. Do not silence yourself to say something, and do not speak to be silent. If you accept, then express it bluntly, do not mask it. If you refuse, then be clear about it, for an ambiguous refusal is but a weak acceptance. Do not accept half a solution. Do not believe half truths. Do not dream half a dream. Do not fantasize about half hopes. Half a drink will not quench your thirst. Half a meal will not satiate your hunger. Half the way will get you nowhere. Half an idea will bear you no results. Your other half is not the one you love. It is you in another time, yet in the same space. It is you when you are not. Half a life is a life you didn't live, a word you have not said, a smile you postponed, a love you have not had, a friendship you did not know. To reach and not arrive, work and not work, attend only to be absent. What makes you a stranger to them closest to you, and they strangers to you? The half is a mere moment of inability, but you are able, for you are not half a being. You are a whole that exists to live a life, not half a life. I love this one because it speaks to being fully present and fully committed to yourself, staying right here and being complete in what you are. This next one is called En Paz by Amado Nervo. Muy cerca de mi ocaso yo te bendigo vida, porque nunca me diste ni esperanza fallida, ni trabajos injustos, ni pena inmerecida. Porque veo al final de mi rudo camino que yo fui el arquitecto de mi propio destino. Que si extraje las mieles o la hiel de las cosas, fue porque en ellas puse hiel o mieles sabrosas. Cuando planté rosales, coseché siempre rosas. Cierto, a mis lozanías va a seguir el invierno, mas tú no me dijiste que mayo fuese eterno. Hallé sin duda largas las noches de mis penas, mas no me prometiste tan solo noches buenas, y en cambio tuve algunas santamente serenas. Amé, fui amado, el sol acarició mi faz. Vida, nada me debes, vida, estamos en paz. This next one is No Leaders, Please by Charles Bukowski. Invent yourself, and then reinvent yourself. Don't swim in the same slough. Invent yourself and then reinvent yourself and stay out of the clutches of mediocrity. Invent yourself and then reinvent yourself. Change your tone and shape so often that they can never categorize you. Reinvigorate yourself and accept what is, but only on the terms that you have invented and reinvented. Be self-taught and reinvent your life because you must. It is your life and its history and the present belong only to you. And the last of the poems that I want to share with you that are not written by me is Invictus by William Ernest Henley. This one I could say without even having to read it. It is my favorite poem in the whole wide world. Whenever I am feeling down, really down, I just remember it. Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. That is my favorite poem in the whole wide world. And to cap things off, here is another poem that I wrote. It is the one that I was going to originally submit to the competition that I talked about. It is called Newfoundland, and again, let me tell you a story. There's no love lost between me and her, no need to satisfy us fools. We came and conquered this new earth, we are the makers of the rules. Before we established this new town, when fire roared in our hearts still, we were both subjects of the crown and yearned for something that felt real. A life of blue and clearer skies, of golden suns and starry nights, a peaceful place far from the lies of those who cared for no one's rights. So when we heard of a new world, of wonders men had not yet seen, inside a ship we both tight curled, and tried our best to ourselves preen. The journey at sea was tough to bear, the road ahead was just as mean. The land with us food would not share, the white had covered all the green. We were the ones who suffered most, perhaps we had some childish ways, but Lady Fortune would not toast in favor of our rightful place. We were the ones who fared the worst, with black clouds always o'er our heads. We tried to manage, but we lost. We could not win a single test. The other pilgrims would not aid, said they had hardships of their own. For us they didn't even pray, not even when they heard us moan. A helping hand's what they denied. Were we not human like they were? Our bodies ached, like them we cried. They'd still just give unfriendly glare. For long the hunger was with us, with it the envy crept inside. For we were shunned without a cause, and were still subjects of spite. At last the madness we gave way, to calm the voices in our minds. We seized the red, beautiful day, we quenched the thirst of our demands. We blocked the windows and the door, they were gathered at the temple. In time they all fell to the floor, they were dead. It was that simple. Scriptures were what they all read. Practice was never their strong suit. Alas, to meet the hounds of hell, of such devotion was the fruit. It mattered not who they had been, what was their age or their gender. Having committed the same sin, with them fate could not be tender. Their skin turned black like crispy coal, their eyes expressed an untold pain. The flames possessed a vengeful soul that sapped the life of all the vain. But we both knew it was not enough. The punishment need be severe. Get off with only skin slow would be forgivingly austere. Our teeth were clenched but not alone, with taste of flesh against the tongue, and the smoked flavor bothered none. That taste of flesh made us feel young. We ate not thinking we were cruel, but enjoying retribution. We ate regardless of being full, we'd not stop our revolution. The vicious roar, the gulping sound, it all continued till the night, and with big bellies we were bound when there was nothing left to bite. The drowsy feeling made us sleep, it made our bodies numb to cold. Our slumber was forever deep, as long as black darkness was whole. But that last bite forever changed the way we felt and how we were, both from humanity estranged, distant from him, distant from her. We did not understand it then, but we could feel it in our heart. We curled again like way back when, and fearing that first ray of light. The sun shone for us and then some, and it did blind our jealous minds, and shame flourished in our bosom for what we'd done with our own hands. The new day revealed us strangers, with a conscience black as the night, made to roam with no repentance. We were not free, we had no right. Her name is woman, mine is man. Under the ground their bones we hid, queen and king of this barren land, and pay the price of blood we did. That's gonna be it for today. Just some poems for when you are feeling down and for when you want just a bit of respite from the world. I'll see you when I see you.